So unless you live under a rock, you have been hearing a lot about Project 2025. That is apparently, unless you're Donald Trump. Even though 31 of the 38 people who helped write or edit the project served in some manner in his administration or transition, he claims he has no idea who these people are. Sound familiar?
David Duke, okay? I never met Putin. I don't know who Putin is. James Comey. I hardly know the man. Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time. I don't know Matt Whitaker. Matt Whitaker worked for Jeff Sessions.
Michael Cohen. Tell me about your relationship with him.
Well, he was a lawyer for me for one of many, not somebody that was with me that much. Let me just tell you, I hardly know the gentleman.
What conversations have you had with Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman?
I don't know those gentlemen. I don't even know who this woman is. I have no idea who she is, where she came from.
Trump on Truth Social said, "I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them." Now, though the proper grammar and absence of randomly capitalized words might make you think this wasn't posted by the former president, the "I have no idea who that person is" defense is a dead giveaway that this indeed is the diaper Don. Of course, Trump was strangely quiet on Project 2025 until his good friend Kevin Roberts, who happens to be the president of the Heritage Foundation, had this to say.
In spite of all this nonsense from the left, we are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Now, I can understand why Trump was attempting to distance himself from yet another set of allegations, especially when he and the Heritage Foundation became enemy number one for a gay furry hacker group. We're about to find out what was on Kevin Roberts' laptop. Now, as always, the Don's first defense is deny, deny, deny. But if there's one thing that Donald and friends are actually pretty good at, it's leaving a trail of evidence that leads directly to their doorstep. And as usual, the goof troop did not disappoint.
That this is a man who will stand up for what's right, who will shatter all of the walls that stand between our freedom and the administrative state, and therefore it is a great privilege on behalf of all of you, our 1.5 million members of Heritage over the last decade, to introduce President Donald Trump.
But I want to thank Kevin. He's going to be so incredible. I know that for a fact, because I know what he did and where he came from, and he's going to be outstanding. And congratulations to his very exciting new role and a very important role. And
is it tied to Trump or not?
I said the context for that comment to the New York Times was that the work of the Heritage Foundation was to institutionalize Trumpism. Trumpism as a new version of conservatism. And by institutionalizing Trumpism, what we're saying is that even though we are known as Ronald Reagan's think tank, I'm a son of the Reagan Revolution, I'm very proud of that, that's 40 years ago. And we need to understand what time it is in America. And right now, Donald Trump, whether someone likes it or not, I happen to like it, is the standard bearer for conservatism. We want no credit. We want the American people, if President Trump is elected again, President Trump and his administration, to take credit for that. But it will also be a great sign if all of this is successful.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure he knows that dude. Not to mention this guy, who was his Secretary of Defense, or this guy that was his Commissioner of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or this guy who was the Associate Director of Presidential Personnel, or this lady who was his Director of Policy Planning, or this lady who is his National Press Secretary, or this guy.
Deputy Secretary at Homeland Security and former Virginia Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli to tell you a little bit more about what is in this book and how important it is.
Because some of what we look to do here is lead the way and have urge a president to lead the way in changing the law, not just issuing executive orders, but permanent changes to how American government works. We start out with a primary recommendation, which may surprise some of you, and that is to get rid of the Department of Homeland Security. Well, maybe it doesn't surprise that many of you. You think of FEMA, for instance. And we go through them agency by agency as well, including some of the things we think we should be rid of, like the TSA, just by way of example. And that's not new to the conservative movement, but I think it is new to a lot of America. And we lay out the groundwork for how an incoming team, as you heard Rick describe, could begin executing on that goal on day one.
Don't worry though, he doesn't know any of these people that worked in his administration and supported him for years. And yes, this plan should come as no surprise to anyone that has been paying any attention at all to the Republican Party in the last 12 years. But just in case you have been saturating your brain with all the bullshit that CNN left-wing media has been spewing for the last 2 weeks about Biden's debate performance, let me give you the Cliff Notes for Dummies version. In the 900-page behemoth of a manual known as Project 2025's Mandate for Leadership, conservatives have laid out their plans in no uncertain terms for anyone willing to read what looks like the prequel to The Handmaid's Tale. In this Bible for bigots and people that can't read good, they address things like eliminating certain HIPAA rights for women who need abortions. That couldn't possibly be used to track women with the intention to punish them, right? They talk about using the Comstock Act, which was passed in the 19th century to attempt to restrict access to abortion medication. They talk about attacking Medicare and the right to negotiate drug prices that were established in the Inflation Reduction Act, which could affect millions of elderly Americans. They want to attack safety nets that were created to help out our farmers. They want to greatly restrict veterans' access to life-sustaining benefits by limiting the conditions that qualify as a disability. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to read it yourself, which you should, there will be links to the document as well as a large language model AI you can ask questions about it in the description below. And before you say, well, Trump doesn't have to do these things, don't forget, he already has in his previous administration. He bragged that he had accomplished more than half of the Heritage Foundation's agenda in the first year. But you don't have to take my word for it. Here are, once again, some people I'm sure he doesn't know.
Is there going to be a plan in place to start to take apart the administrative state?
There has to be, and yes, there will be. The next president, if President Trump gets back in there, he needs to reorient the government that's in a way that hasn't been seen since Franklin Roosevelt did it with the New Deal. We need to gut these agencies. We need to start from scratch. We need to make a new government, essentially, because the one that we have now doesn't work for conservatives. It wasn't made for us. It's built against us.
It's finding the people that can run each agency and dismantle it one by one. What else, James? What do we want to do?
I think we want to do mass government layoffs. I think, yeah.
Hold it.
It's a reality. President Reagan's director of the Office of Personnel Management fired over 100,000 bureaucrats using reduction in force exercises. So you can't fire a civil servant because they have civil service protections, right? But you can eliminate their position.
Take away the billet?
It's a way of eliminating the building, eliminating the position. So it's a way of firing them. So we can do stuff and get creative like that. Is we're recruiting the MAGA, America First Republicans right now so that we can take DC by storm in 2025. We're not going to go in like we did in 2017, where the establishment took over and co-opted much of the personnel of President Trump's administration. We're more prepared this time. We're recruiting grassroots conservatives, and we want all of you, if you want to serve in the next White House, next State Department, next Pentagon, we want you to sign up. Tell your sons, tell your daughters, tell all your friends. It's project2025.org.
I've heard multiple people now say Trump isn't endorsing Project 2025. I've heard people say that his policies are going to be determined by his Agenda 47 plan. But you know what? It looks suspiciously like the Project 2025 plan. And you know what else? It's also pretty weird that Trump's super PAC is running ads promoting Project 2025 and calling it Trump's Project 2025 plan. Trump supporters are either aggressively gullible or they are completely full of shit. And this guy wants them to be running the government. Look, if you're a Democrat and you're still having a hard time coming to terms with voting for Biden, I think it's time we had a come to Jesus talk. Because there is absolutely no fucking way you are going to convince me that the MAGA cult infesting every level of the government is better than voting for Biden. I mean, are we seriously fucking talking about people like Loomer, Bannon, and the cult determining our children's education or our veterans' health benefits? Have you bumped your goddamn head? At this point, if you are seriously saying things like, well, he probably won't do all the worst shit, I'm going to have to start doubting your ability to make decisions as well. This isn't a question. This is a litmus test that should decide whether you should be allowed to vote ever again. And it just might be. Look, if you haven't seen enough yet, please watch this video and imagine these people running the government. Until next time, remember, get educated and get out and vote.